Exclusive alert. Something just moved behind the glass at Allen Park, and if you blink, you'll miss the kind of pivot that changes a whole season. A single call, a short list, and one name circled in red ink. You hear that? It's the sound of a window that was starting to creak, being shoved back open. You want urgency? Look at the board. Injuries stacking up, playoff tiebreakers that will come down to one third down stop in December, and a defense that refuses to be defined by who's unavailable. There's a reason this front office keeps a break glass column on the depth chart. Tonight, that glass is cracking. Here's my promise for the next minutes. I'll tell you what the move signals about Detroit's identity, how it fits Aaron Glenn's coverage families, what it means for leverage on the boundary and in the slot, what draft capital could be in play, what the cap gymnastics look like, and why timing matters with the schedule about to tighten. No spoilers yet. Stick with me. You're watching Lions News Fan Report. Tap subscribe, drop a like, and tell me where you're tuning in from. If you've been riding with this team through the rebuild, you know exactly why today hits different. Let's talk football, not rumors. Start with context. The Lions were already walking a thin line at corner. DJ Reed sideline. Terry and Arnold and Halil Dorsey banged up, special teams bodies being asked to play hero snaps. Dan Campbell can sell next man up all day, and the locker room buys it, but there's a point where culture needs reinforcements. That point arrived. The standard didn't drop. The margin for error did. Philosophy next. AG wants corners who tackle with conviction, squeeze windows with patient feet, and transition without panic when offenses stack releases. This isn't a grabby hope for flags operation. It's match rules, leverage, and trust. When it works, the pass rush looks faster, the safeties look smarter, and 3rd and 6 turns into a punt that flips the field. When it doesn't, you chase ghosts and play whack-a-mole with coverage busts. Profile the target archetype. Think sticky feet at the breakpoint, eyes disciplined enough to bait but not bite, and a frame that doesn't shy from the alley. A guy who can live outside on early downs and kick inside on money downs if the formation demands it. Not a highlight merchant, an efficiency merchant. The tape has to say, I know where the route ends before you do. Fit the room. When Arnold is right, you want him attacking throws, not patching emergencies. When Reed is back, you want him dictating to route runners, not covering up holes. The missing piece is a corner you trust to hold up an off man on the boundary and still mix press without panicking. Someone who shrinks throwing lanes and lets Aaron Glenn call the aggressive stuff he loves on 2nd and long. Mechanics matter. The clock's ticking on the calendar, and rental versus extendable asset dictates price. A day 3 pick with conditions tied to playing time? Doable. A sweetener if the player re-signs? Seen it before. The cap isn't a brick wall. It's a puzzle. Convert a little here, prorate a little there. Keep your comp pick math clean. And make sure you're not borrowing against next March unless the floor of the move is undeniably high. All right, here's the line bouncing around right now. The 1. Lighting up phones across Detroit, the Lions confirm Greg Newsome. Take a breath. What does confirm even mean in the buzz cycle? Right now, you're not seeing any official league transaction stamped and filed. What you are hearing loudly is converging smoke. A target greenlit internally, terms scoped, role defined, and the sense that Detroit wants a corner who aligns with its tackling standard and coverage DNA. Translation: this is high-confidence chatter built on logic and need. Treat it as a real scenario being driven to the goal line, but until it's on the wire, it's still football speculation, not gospel. Now, why Newsome and why now? Start with the tools. He's got the mirror quickness to sit on option routes, the patience to force quarterbacks to hitch, and the willingness to strike through the catch point instead of playing tag. In a system that wants to disguise safety rotations and spin late, you need a corner who doesn't freak out when the picture changes post-snap. That's Newsome's comfort zone. Add in a track record of double-digit pass breakups in a strong year, and you're talking about outcomes, Not hypotheticals. Dot roll clarity is easy to see. Early downs. Outside. Known pass. You can travel him to the hot hand or kick him inside the choke slot spacing, especially against bunch and stack looks where you need a clean banjo call and a DB who communicates with authority. With Arnold healthy, you can play left-right. With injuries, Newsome becomes your stabilizer. The ripple effect is sneaky big. It lets Ag send a fifth rusher without feeling naked on the perimeter, contract chess. He's at the point in his rookie cycle where a team has to decide, rental or re-up. For Detroit, both paths make sense. If he's a rental, the price should reflect that no premium picks for a short-term patch. If he's a re-up candidate, you front-load some guarantees, align the cash flow with your core's timeline, and lock in a prime-age corner who fits exactly what you ask for the position. Either way, you're not mortgaging the future. You're insulating it. Matchup reality check. Look at the offenses coming up on the slate. Motion-heavy, spacing-savvy coordinators who live on high-percentage throws and turn 5 yards into 20 with a missed tackle. That's where Newsome move pays twice, first at the catch point, second in the open field. Don't underestimate the psychological effect either. When your corners trigger downhill and finish, your linebackers trigger faster, your safeties trust the edge, and your whole defense plays on schedule. Culture test. Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell don't love rentals that don't fit the room. They target players who practice hard on Wednesday, not just flex on Sunday. Everything about Newsome's on-field demeanor, calm feet, aggressive finish screams earn it. He doesn't need a throne. He needs a role. That matters in a locker room that feeds off accountability and keeps the receipts from last January. The alternatives exist, sure. You can swing at a long lever project who needs 2 weeks to learn the calls, or a veteran name who tackles like it's optional. But when you're built the way Detroit is built, you chase certainty in what you value: tackling, communication, and the ability to erase a quarterback's first read. Newsome checks those boxes. The tape says so. Zoom out to the playoff picture. One timely addition in October changes how coordinators script their openers against you in December. If they don't trust their boundary isolations, they'll look off the outside and throw into the teeth of your help. That's turnovers. That's shorter fields. That's your offense getting 1 extra possession per game, and that's how seeds are won when everyone's banged up. And yes, the injury backdrop matters. You don't rush Arnold back if you don't have to. You don't ask special teamers to moonlight at CB2 for 3 straight weeks. You spread the load, you keep the standard, and you give the room a message. The front office is in the fight with you. Moves like this are signals. Players hear them. Let me say it plainly. If lines confirm Greg Newsome goes from smoke to ink, the football fit is obvious, the cost is manageable, and the culture fit is aligned. If it stalls, the process still tells you everything about how this regime thinks. They identify needs early, they target fits, and they don't blink when the calendar squeezes them. That's how grown-up contenders behave. I want to hear from you. If the price is a conditional day 3 pick and a modest cap tweak, are you in? Do you see him outside full-time or flexing inside on money downs? And if you've watched this film closely, what's the one trait you think translates best to a G's world? Drop your take in the comments. Be specific. Tell me the role. Tell me the matchup you're targeting. My opinion? I'm in at the right cause. The tackling standard and coverage patience fit Detroit's defensive spine, and the move buys time for the room to get healthy without asking the scheme to shrink. But until it's on the transaction wire, it's exactly what I've framed it as: informed speculation, not an official announcement. That's the truth, and it's more than enough to explain why this rumor has teeth.